Hey everybody, this is just a very quick demonstration of some of the spline editing tools that are now built into this VWF sandbox application. This is not a tutorial. I just want to briefly demonstrate what they are and what you can do. First of all, you'll notice a bunch of new primitives. You'll get them under Create, Shapes, Line, Circle, Star, Rectangles, L section, T section. There's also a couple new modifiers, Create modifiers, Extrude, and Lathe. In the case of the lathe, which is a pretty nifty tool, you just grab kind of a shape. Currently it's set to lathe around the y-axis. Create, modifiers, lathe, boom, there it is. If you open up the lathe steps, you can turn it up to get kind of a smoother shape. So you can do that. Something you can do that's really interesting is move the lathe axis like so, but that is not really the best thing to do at the moment. It's not really designed for that. You can see the gizmo is all off on the wrong spot. So you can do that if I just remove the lathe, delete, back to the line. With an extrude, so I grab this shape. You'll see that the shapes can kind of publish because they're not editable splines yet. They're just lines. Oh, that actually is a. You'll note that there is no tool here. Let me go to Create, Shapes, Star. Doesn't look like a star because I have to change its properties. You notice that it publishes two different radius values, whereas the other one doesn't. That's because I've converted the other line into a kind of an editable line. So I can't edit this line. Let me delete this one. We're not going to use it. I can't edit the individual points of this line, but if I open up the SplineTools and hit Activate, it's going to say Spline tool can be blah, blah, blah. Do you want to convert? Okay, I do want to convert it. I've got a little bit of GUI wonkiness there. I got to select it again. You'll note that now with the SplineTools active, I can go in here and I can click on points and move individual points. So that's pretty cool. Let me turn that off for a second. Let me show you. We have a couple of nice tools in here. You know, I can refine and just add a point on the line, or what have you. I can also smooth the whole shape, just kind of subdivide. Clear it. Very good. I can draw to just plot myself a new shape, which is pretty nifty. Turn that off. I think I can smooth or reduce the number of steps. Very good. Let me just turn that off for now. If I grab a shape, let's go ahead and extrude this. Let me grab it. Go to Create, Modifiers, Extrude. There it is. Pulls right out. You note that this, let me get the modifier stack here. There's Extrude. I can get the number of steps higher. I can extrude it more or less. You'll note that because this was based on an editable spline, I can still use the SplineTools while that modifier is on top, and this will kind of update the stack of transformations as I go through, and I can rebuild the extruded shape. That same kind of setup will also work for this guy, right? Let me select him here, zoom in. So because he is based on an editable spline, and you can see that because in the stack of objects here, there's a line object. It doesn't say star, it says line. If I go to active, I can go in there just the same way I can sort of like pull out the lathed value. Now this is giving me these big chunks because I've got the tool snaps on. Let me go to edit, transform, nope, I hate that thing. Transform, snaps, off, and then I can kind of move it more smoothly. And just like that, you know, I can go and I can refine it in the exact same way. Just hit refine and pull out another little contour there. So that's pretty neat. All right, let me turn that off. So that's kind of the idea. I believe this is a star. Right, it's a spline star, so it keeps its kind of generative properties here for the algorithm to generate the shape. And you can adjust those rather than adjusting the individual vertices, or you can just transform it into an editable spline. One last nifty trick. Here's a T section. And here is a sphere. Let me go to Create, Behaviors, Path Follow. Let me open the Path Follow, choose Node, click it, and it's going to animate along that path. And you'll see it move over time. It does kind of turn this section into like a spline, so we get smooth motion. Probably there's like a lot more we could do with that to make it more useful. For now, it doesn't like orient in the direction it's traveling either, but it does publish a speed, and I believe the speed is in kind of meters per second. There you go. Oh, look at that. So anyway, there's all kinds of things you can do there. Obviously, all these shapes obey the same kinds of transformations you would expect. You can put a twist on top of an extrude, or a bend on top of an extrude, or what have you. But there you go. It's a real quick demo of some of the new features.